Paranormal Punches is part of the Podbelly Network. Go to podbelly.com for more great podcasts.
Hey y'all, this is Frank the Bigfoot, and you're listening to the Paranormal Puncher.
Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Paranormal Punchers, the show that takes a paranormal topic and has a good old time discussing it. I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Nash.
I'm the mold sniffer.
Oh, he's back. Dave is back. He survived sniffing mold.
Yes. Yeah. Which turns out it wasn't mold sniffing.
Right.
No, but the fact that you thought you got sick from inhaling mold
Yeah.
off of a bagel, mind you.
It is a thing.
It is a thing, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you're all right. And
Honestly, I wish
it wasn't the bagel.
No, I kind of wish it was, because now I've given it to the rest of my family. That's how I know it wasn't mold sniffing.
Boy.
You can't
The bagel?
you've got a whole family of mold
Your
sniffers.
bagels aren't contagious from your coughing. Let's put it that way. It's
Unless you cough in the bagel and you're like, here,
have
kid,
some
I made you
spores.
breakfast.
Yeah. But no, it was definitely some form of
What kind of bagel was it?
just a plain bagel. No, it had a spot
Not in
on it,
everything.
and I do want to point this out. This wasn't like a spot that the fuzzy mold, like it's mold. I wouldn't do a smell test on a it's mold. This was just a dark spot in between two bagels,
Could have been a blueberry.
and no, because they were supposed to be plain, but it looked like it could have been like a burnt spot or something like that.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
just a dark spot, and I just wanted to smell if it was off, and it didn't smell like anything. So
Hey, welcome to Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark.
Paranormal pastries.
Here we go. Wow, Dave. Had a whole different show going on there for a second.
Now I'm hungry for some bagels. And I didn't even bring up food this
And
time.
it's just all
Thank you.
And that's the way it was.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yep.
the last episode of Paranormal Punchers.
Right.
well, all I kept thinking is the whole time, like, I'm going to turn into the Egon character here. I collect, spores, mold, and fungus. So,
Oh boy.
Nice.
yeah, I collect them through my nose, but
Okay, so if you're Egon, who are we all?
I am not going to prognosticate on that.
Ooh.
That was a big word.
That was a really useful.
That's where we need our puppet to be like, P is for I can't even say it. Like, educate some people out there.
Listeners, you got to give us a roll.
Yeah.
The way you tried to say it, I was picturing proctologists.
Yeah, we're all proctologists.
P is for proctologist.
P is for proctologist, which you might be feeling a little pain in your butt from all the stupid things we're saying right now.
Yeah.
So we're going to actually bring it right back to the topic of today's episode. This one is all about the Oklahoma Octopus.
Yep.
That's right.
Dun, dun.
This strange cryptid. It's kicking it out there in Oklahoma in like two lakes, apparently. Lake Thunderbird and Lake Tenkiller. Mm-hmm. And apparently there is one other that they're not so prominent. Like, what was the name of that lake? You said 3 lakes, but...
Ulaga.
Olaga.
Thank you.
But the 2 primary lakes where the octopus seems to kill it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lake Thunderbird, Lake Tenkiller, and it also seems to have a taste for teenagers that go swimming.
Right.
All right, hey.
Is that something in the water?
We're like 3 minutes in, 3, if you're still with us,
Yeah.
put on your seatbelt.
Right.
Because this is going to be something special. Lish, you could try to get us on the rails, but I'm pretty sure I'm looking at Dave, and I'm looking at Nash,
Yeah.
and there is their eyes. I don't like it. It's going to go off the rails pretty fast.
I know. I'm going to try my best. Okay, guys.
Go for it.
The Oklahoma Octopus is a cryptid.
You know, this got me thinking. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
I don't know if everybody could hear my eyes rolling, but
No, it came through.
I'm sure the listeners know when you're rolling your eyes.
anyway, This cryptid inhabits a few of the freshwater man-made lakes in Oklahoma, and it attacks and kills unsuspecting swimmers. Now, it is a cephalopod. It looks like an octopus, okay? It's about the size of a horse with long tentacles and leathery, reddish-brown skin, okay?
Why is the skin that color?
I don't know. I know the one lake is predominantly red, so I don't know if it comes from that or what.
But I mean,
Did you find why they said the skin is that color, Dave?
I actually didn't investigate it because if you look at normal octopuses, octopods,
Right. Cephalopods.
yeah, there you go. They kind of are that color.
Well, it is said that it is whatever. Anyway, it said that the reason why it has copperish skin is from the murders and the blood soaking into the skin. Nefarious.
Where did you read that?
In my deep research.
Okay.
Now, there have been numerous reported sightings, and they typically involve sightings of like a large tentacle that just kind of comes up over the surface.
Sorry. Boy, that's not going to lead us astray.
Yeah. Anyway.
Back to this large tentacle.
Yeah.
So anyway.
I was not able to find these numerous sightings.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
But I did find a few things that we can bring in here.
Yeah.
But so in 2003, John Mazurek caught a fairly sized red octopus that was clinging to one of the gates of the dam at Lake Conway in Arkansas, which borders
Right.
Oklahoma.
Damn.
Now he was out fishing when he's.
Did you really?
Yeah, I know.
Do you want me to do this for you?
Oh, nice. Okay.
He was out fishing when he spotted the octopus and grabbed it. Now, the Arkansas Fish and Game officials theorized that someone had kept the octopus as a pet, but dumped it in the lake once it grew too large. Now, in 2007...
Whoa. All right. So...
This is not me doing this.
Well, no. All right. No. So someone had a pet octopus. They decided they didn't want it anymore. It got too big, and they
got
just
too big.
threw it out in the lake.
Yeah.
Can I remind you about the New York sewers and alligators?
I know.
You don't do this.
Don't do this.
No.
So there's a point that hasn't been brought up yet that I.
No.
Well, we
just got started. Yeah.
Right. But I want to come back to this exact
Okay.
point.
Put a pin
later.
in it.
Yeah.
Put it in the parking lot. Put it.
Okay.
Put in the parking lot.
Put it in the parking lot.
Okay.
Put it in the parking lot, and we'll get back to it.
Okay. In 2007, a young boy, he swam out too far, and he started to drown. Now, as he struggled to get to the surface, he cried out that something was pulling him down. And unfortunately, they never found his body. But so, who knows what happened there. But in 2017, one was found in Grand Lake, Oklahoma. An investigation was launched, and they concluded that it was part of a seafood buffet at the nearby yacht club.
What?
Yeah. What? And someone reportedly threw it into the water as part of a joke.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Was it still alive?
I think so.
Or they just saw.
What?
I don't know.
They'd bring a live octopus to a seafood buffet?
Well, they're usually in a tank, aren't they?
Well, seafood buffets, you're going to eat it, so it wouldn't be alive.
Well, then I don't know.
I thought I read
Gosh.
that they said that octopus, they're sentient, so killing them by boiling them, things like that, is illegal now. Now you got to shoot them in the brain like a zombie.
or cut the brain usually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But the we had that conversation, and I thought that was all about lobsters, the big thing.
Right.
But yeah, it's whatever the plural
Octopuses.
is.
Yeah. Cephalopods.
Yeah, there
Yes.
you go. They're same thing. They're sentient, so they're protected in the UK,
Right.
and that you can't boil them, nor can you eat them live. But before,
That would be
Who
really
would
hard.
eat
That would
them
be difficult to eat them
live?
live.
Well,
No, Dave, we were talking about
Right.
the
Yeah.
movie Old Boy, the Korean version, not the American remake.
if you've ever
It's in
seen
Old Boy, the original one?
the original Old Boy,
Yeah.
the Korean version. I can't remember if it was an octopus or a squid, but similar there. the actor actually eats this entire thing live, and like while he's eating it, the tentacles are actually like smacking his face and
Oh my
everything.
gosh.
It's freaky, and it's one of those scenes that's hard to watch.
Man, do I have a fun fact for you. Just keep in mind what you just said.
Right.
Okay. No, I'm not going to say it now.
Oh,
we were waiting for you.
I know.
no.
That goes so that goes in the parking lot
Whoa.
too. Okay.
I got a fun fact section
Okay.
about octopuses,
What?
octopi, and
Cephalopods.
cephalopods.
Just go with that.
And I just keep that in mind.
Okay.
Now I have one more sighting. In 2020, a couple fishing at Lake Tenkiller were shocked when one of the people fishing with them pulled in what appeared to be a small octopus from the water. Now, there is no physical evidence that the octopus exists.
Except for the ones they pulled out of the lake.
Well, and then
Touche.
okay, thank you. Now, many point to the high mortality rate and dramatic rise of unexplained drownings that occur in these lakes, and that's what they think is actually doing this. Many of the drownings are under unusual circumstances. Now, according to the Army Corps of Engineers office in Tulsa, as of 2008, occurrences of drownings were happening at a rate that hadn't been seen since 2001. In mid-2008, the Oklahoma Lake Patrol reported that there had already been a 40% increase in drownings from the year before, which is a lot.
Right.
Okay. Now, there are Native American legends that are like 200 plus years old, and they tell of strange aquatic creatures that has a strong desire for human flesh living in some of these lakes. Now, they are problematic because they don't actually specify like which tribe has these legends, okay? Which usually they do. And also, the lakes involved have only been around since the 1950s.
Because they're all man-made lakes. Right.
Yes.
They're all
Yeah.
reservoirs.
Well,
Yeah.
let me put a parentheses around man-made. Around man
Right.
of the man-made. I'm doing air quotes during all of this. Man-made.
That doesn't make it easier to
No.
understand what you're saying.
No.
Air
It really
quotes. Air
doesn't.
quotes. Air quotes.
Now,
Oh my god.
although some octopuses have...
Cephalopods.
Some cephalopods have been recorded for brief periods of time living in freshwater environments. They cannot survive for a very long amount of time in freshwater. They are saltwater creatures, okay?
Unless they're aliens and adapt.
Well, we'll get to that, I'm sure. A shift to entirely freshwater would require some like extreme changes in their physiology and everything. No cephalopod has been known to make this whole transition. Okay.
Cephalopod.
I was going to say cephalopod.
I did like
It's
the
like a cool
show
name,
too.
man.
I
Yeah.
said cephalopod.
That's like, dude, that's our metal band name.
Yeah.
Cephalopod.
Whatever. The other thing against the whole idea of an octopus in Oklahoma, the two lakes are about 170 miles apart. And there is no underground channel that connects them. So, no, there is
Even
none.
every listener did the same thing
I
I
know.
just did. I looked
I
at
know.
Nash like, oh, we're going to hear
I'm sure we will.
possibilities
I'm just
of underground tunnels.
Yeah.
Oh, just wait.
saying. Yeah. So, is it one octopus
No.
that is moving from lake to lake, or
Yes.
are there multiple
Yes.
No.
cephalopods?
Okay. That's a question that's been posed, and I feel like you guys want to answer.
Well, and I would give one small little bit of information on the drownings. The drownings that occurred, they attributed, like they thought that it was the octopus that was pulling them down,
Right.
but no sucker marks were found on the bodies.
Oh.
Yeah, so
They're clever octopi.
well, octopus are incredibly clever.
But the an adult octopus
Yep.
with its tentacle, without suction, can wrap with the force of
Yeah.
a 200-pound
I know.
human being.
I got you.
Adult man.
I'm feeling your
And
vibe.
so it may not need to sucker it. It may just wrap it and pull or hold you under it.
Wrap and pull.
Wrap and pull. Boom.
But
No sucky, just rappy pulley.
I got to strike that from the edit.
I know.
It's good that I said that right about the same time.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Alexa kill conversation.
Yeah, the Alexa went off and messed everybody up.
Yep.
I might just leave it in so you know this is just really how it rolls.
That's right.
Hanging on that question, Dave.
About the no suckers.
Right. Well, and the adult male and the
No, that you were convinced it's not a multiple octopi.
Oh, that's right. Because you were
You
saying
think
that
it's
it's
one big
well,
octopus
So
going
I have
lake to lake.
I have a whole theory on this, but I want to get into a different topic first before I go into my
Okay.
theory, because my theory builds upon what the next topic is.
Okay. Well, so then maybe I'll go into possible explanations.
Yes.
Okay.
Or fun facts
Oh,
about
whatever.
octopuses.
Yeah. Why don't you do fun facts?
cephalopods,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we can do
octopi, or is it
Stuffies.
is an octopi just like a shepherd's pie, just made with octopus?
that. And this might, add to some stuff that Dave and Nash is going to bring up. All right, so this is probably nothing special here, but of course, octopuses are wicked old.
Right?
Yep.
And yes, somebody should look it up. The plural for an octopus, there's many different ways you can say it.
Right.
So stop making fun of me. So they're wicked old. There's fossils that of the octopus dating back to 296 million years ago.
Yeah.
So they've been on the planet like
A long,
a
long,
long
time.
time. Like, this one everybody probably knows, but they have 3 hearts. 2 of the hearts work exclusively to move blood beyond the animal's gills, but the third circulates blood to the organs.
Okay.
The Greek philosopher Aristotle thought octopuses were stupid. He wrote that the octopus is a stupid creature, for it will approach a man's hand if it be lowered in the water. But it is neat and thrifty in its habits.
Oh boy. Thrifty in its habits.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
It's trying to eat your hand, but okay. Yeah, it's just stupid.
But it's trying to pinch panties too at the same time.
The octopus arms have a mind of their own. So 2/3 of the octopus's, the neurons that reside in the arm, not its head, reside in its arms, not its head.
Okay.
So it can control independently a couple arms over here doing this, while a couple other arms over there doing this.
So it's really kind of the they have the mind of their own kind of a thing. It has a mind of its own, is really more apt to the octopus than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If an octopus learned how to drum, no one could keep up with them.
Okay.
Octopuses.
That just sounds so wrong.
I honestly
Hey,
think
man.
that every time we use a plural, we should use a different version of the plural.
keep yeah. In some cultures, and in this case, Japan, they're considered erotic,
Oh.
and that's why we have tentacle erotica. But this traces back to 1814
Wow.
with a woodcut by Teiko Toama. But anyway, it's Octopus and the Shell Diver. The woodblock is a story about a female shell diver who is chased by sea creatures, including octopuses, after capturing the eye of a sea dragon. So,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and my last little tidbit, which goes back to eating an octopus, Dave, is an octopus is flexible enough to enter your mouth, navigate your digestive system, and leave through your anus.
What?
Shout out to Baron Von Flanagan for that little
My
nugget.
goodness.
Now, if it came out the back end,
All my TESD people out there.
so if it came out the back end, would you be like in the middle of doing a BM, or would it just be like, hey, I'm coming through, it's fine?
I think if it can navigate through your intestine, you feel it the whole way. Uh-huh. And you're waiting. You're just hoping it exits fast because it's not going to be a good feeling.
I was going to say, most likely it's not going to be a good...
Well, yeah, but what I'm trying to say, would you need to use the restroom to get it out, or would it just come out of its own volition and just kind of do its thing?
Well, I imagine if we're going to go that route, that if the camera was on said butthole, that one tentacle come out, then another, and it would just kind of pull itself out.
Okay, kind of. I see.
Well, I'm not going to go there.
Work its way through there. Okay, I got you.
And cut. And scene.
Yeah.
My God. Do you have more fun facts, or was that it?
I'm pretty sure at this point nobody wants me to keep going with
I
fun
know.
facts.
Yeah.
So let's go to some explanations or possible reasoning behind this. Now, the drownings are most likely the result of people getting drunk and not paying attention while they're swimming.
But there were some teenagers.
It does not matter.
Yeah.
A lot of teenagers drink.
I would hope that maybe when I think teenager, and maybe it's just my own, I think of like 13, 14, like the early side, not like 18,
Okay.
19.
Well, then maybe
If I
they're not
learned
paying
anything
attention.
from horror movies, when teenagers go to a lake,
Right.
they're drinking.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
True.
And then they die.
Yeah. Now, is it a rare living fossil left over from tens of millions of years ago when this part of the country was actually a shallow sea? Mm-hmm. Now, over time, did this particular line of octopus adapt to fresh water?
Well, no, because these are man-made legs. So even
No, I
when-
know.
I'm just saying. Like,
I know.
I know you know.
No, oh,
I'm
easy,
just-
easy.
you know.
I'll get the
I
hose.
know you know.
I will get the hose. I will get the hose.
The only reason I'm saying that is because the octopus has managed to populate pretty much every corner of the sea, whether it's cold, whether it's warm.
Mm-hmm.
Could a octopus from the Mesozoic, just pulled that out of thin air, time period be buried in the mud like in Africa where some of those frogs and stuff, like when it's so dry, they're in the mud. But when the rain comes and fills these small
Right.
ponds, lakes back up, they come back out and they're still alive.
I don't
Is
know.
it possible for this thing just to be buried deep in the mud after the salt water receded? So when they were digging lakes and making these man-made lakes, that somehow
Right.
they were able to...
I think that would be very similar. I kind of like that theory because it would be like the documentary Reign of Fire, where there's a dragon that was underground.
If you're a new listener, look, that's not actually a documentary.
No,
It's a documentary.
not, no.
Oh, the documentary with Christian Bale.
Yeah. And Matthew McConaughey, where he eats cigars. But they wake a sleeping dragon that's underground accidentally, and then it comes up and then does its
Right.
thing.
In addition, so
There's an addition to...
Yeah.
Nice. I like this.
well, I mean, so the mud is one aspect of it, but the second, what they did is these are reservoirs. They dammed a river to fill this area up to make this reservoir for drinking.
Damn.
But we don't know were there already lakes and ponds in this area
Right.
that were. They could have been living in this area from the
Right.
very beginning, and their 10-foot or 20-foot deep pond
Right.
suddenly became part of one of them is a 12,000 acre lake, the other one's a 29,000 acre lake, and the other's a 5,000 acre lake.
Jeez.
So suddenly they're all much bigger.
Okay.
But we could have already had bodies of water that were just assumed into
Right.
these big man-made lakes, but they could have been there from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it Cthulhu's cousin?
Cthulhu has a cousin?
Yeah.
He doesn't get invited to the parties. He doesn't come to Thanksgiving
Right.
and Christmas. But he's a second or third cousin.
There are some that believe Lovecraft based at least some of his works on his own secret knowledge of terrible beasts and ancient civilizations. So, there's that.
Yep.
Now, the one that I think we're really going to go with, okay, guys? So, cephalopods are incredibly intelligent, and we
Super.
already talked about them being sentient. The genome of the octopus shows a staggering level of complexity with 33,000 protein coding genes, more than is present in humans.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's from the New York Post. I'm not that smart. Okay. It has.
Well, you sure sound it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. It has a large brain, sophisticated nervous system, a flexible body, and the ability to switch colors and camouflage. Could they be alien?
Dun, dun.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Wow, Dave. Wow.
Now, I'm
so
gonna,
excited for this
I'm going to
episode.
finish with this, and then I'm going to let you boys run. Okay. Now, there was a paper published in the Biophysics and Molecular Biology where they tried to tackle the question of how life originated here on Earth. They theorized that cephalopods actually originated from somewhere other than Earth.
Because they're so unlike anything
Yes.
else on this
Yeah.
planet.
Yeah. And they came to Earth on a comet or
Right.
whatever. So go for it, boys.
Yeah. Yeah. The DNA is different enough that it doesn't match any other
Right.
living organism.
The only thing I would add to your to what you were saying, Lish, is that there were some. It is said that what was it, the size of a horse? I had another account where they said it was the size. Now they used the specific brand name, but they said it was the size of a Jeep.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so it can be even bigger than that. So that got me thinking about.
Hey, Jeep, if you want to sponsor us.
I know.
Yeah, sponsor. Let us know. But if it's extraterrestrial, Dave, what are your? You said you had some notes on extraterrestrial action.
A little. Yeah.
So, just on the intelligence level alone is where where it's I'm ready to slide into your alien theories, Nash.
Yeah.
Because
Those are
here's the
Dave's
story.
alien
I know you.
He has aliens. Might as well
I know you.
I actually don't have much on alien. I have a single theory, and then I go somewhere else.
So this is so again, it's fascinating on the intelligence level of the octopus and the sneakiness of the octopus. That combined, that is what fascinates me. Wicked intelligent, super sneaky.
Right.
So this is from this dates back 100 years ago in England at Brighton Aquarium. So they had an octopus in one of their tanks.
They had an aquarium 100 years ago.
Yeah, man.
This
didn't
is
know
a
that?
new thing.
1920s, I guess. Yeah. Okay. My mistake. Yeah.
We couldn't contain water 100 years ago.
Yeah, you have a point. My bad.
We needed the invisible aluminum.
Transparent aluminum. Thank
Transparent
you.
aluminum. But 100 years ago, Brighton Aquarium in England, they had an octopus in a tank. But at night, this thing, when everybody went home, there was no one around, this thing would it was clever enough to get out of its own tank. It would walk across to another tank, get in that tank, and eat what is called a lumpfish. I don't know what the lumpfish is.
It's a fish that's lumpy.
It's lumpy.
It's a little lumpy.
It's a little lumpy. And then it would go back, and then when they come in the morning, it's just chilling in its tank. And they couldn't figure things. After it ate 4 or 5 lumpfish, they were like, they figured out that this thing was getting out of its tank, walking across, because these things can walk.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, I have a fun fact. They usually walk because when they try to swim, their heart stops beating or something like that.
Because all their blood goes to their
Yeah.
to their legs, so they actually stop. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Fun fact.
So I like to think that it would come back into its own tank, eat the fish during the night, come back into its own tank, and then when people would come down, they're like, "Oh my God, what happened to our fish?" They would look around, and the octopus would be like, "Just sitting here,
Just chilling.
Yeah.
just chilling. How you doing? What's up? Yeah, look pretty good.
It's a mystery. It's certainly a mystery that that fit went, what's this? And he shows some bones behind his
You would see an eight-legged shrug. I don't know.
Well, I imagine he probably eats bone and all, right? Or no?
Well, so that was one question. I realize this is a divergent topic, but the everybody talks about the drowning rates. To get the drowning rates, you would need to have bodies knowing that they actually drown. So that means the cephalopod's not actually eating these; they're just stealing the bodies, holding them underwater.
They could be draining them of blood.
They're getting
Now they're
souls,
vampire octopuses?
right?
Maybe.
No, that's
Okay.
our next movie.
So okay, hold on. I gotta jump.
Go, Dave.
I'm taking over.
You sniff that bagel and you go, man.
Right, yeah. So, okay. aliens don't actually explain the whole thing, but
aliens don't explain it.
Right,
to us.
Just because they're alien wouldn't explain how they can get from lake to lake. And,
I was just thinking the way you said it. Like, I know aliens haven't explained anything to us.
Right.
And they really should.
But, okay, so here's my alien theory on this.
Okay.
That points out a little bit of a telltale about this. So if you take Lake Thunderbird, Lake Tenkiller, and Lake Ulaga, okay? Lake Thunderbird to Lake Tenkiller is 170 miles. Mm-hmm. Lake Thunderbird to Lake Ugla is 170 miles.
Audio-wise, you could probably stop tapping on the table.
Sorry. Lake Tenkiller to Lake Ugla is 100 miles.
Keep going. Keep coming.
Which creates a triangle.
Oh, another triangle?
The triangle, when put on a map, looks like this. And you want to know exactly what it points to? Roswell, New Mexico.
Oh!
So this thing is living in these reservoirs in Oklahoma, pointing to Roswell as a source of the alien infestation.
Interesting.
I was actually thinking also kind of along the alien side, because I have a few multiple theories here. Kind of like what Dave was saying is that it's not really an octopus because it doesn't have the suckers, but it's still pulling people down. Okay. So I'm thinking that it's more that these lakes are more of like incubation sites.
Okay.
And it is the guardian.
What is up with you guys tapping on the table?
This is
trying to make
we're
animated.
making really solid points.
We can't control the other 6 arms.
That's right. I'll give the presidential thumb up here. So what we're trying to say is that it's actually guarding these incubation sites. So these are not so much. There are things happening underneath this lake and in the lake because the lake is man-made.
Right.
Did anybody pull up the dates of when these lakes were made?
Yes.
What were the dates?
Lake Thunderbird was constructed between 62 and 65. Tenkiller was 49 to 52, and Lake Ugla started in 50, had a pause, restarted, and finished in 63.
So, okay. So, see, there you
Damn, I should just, Alexa, who? Just ask Dave. Hey, Dave, tell me these facts.
Right.
I was gonna say, don't say her name.
Yeah.
She's
Oh,
gonna
Alexa's
go off.
going off. My bad.
Yeah. So I was thinking that these were more protectors. Alexa, you're stealing my thunder.
Don't say her name again. All right, we're in the clear. Go.
Okay. That these are not octopus. Okay. That there are more protectors, cephalopod style hybrid made so they were engineered to be able to stay in freshwater lakes, and they are protecting something in that lake. What are they protecting?
Well, how threatening is a drunk teenager swimming? That it's got
better.
They're threatening? Oh, okay.
Because a drunk teenager would be it's not about threatening, it's just in the proximity. It's in like a no-fly zone kind of a situation for these creatures, and they come up, they grab whatever is there, and they get rid of it. They kill it to protect what's in there. So I believe out there that there's a bunch of hybrids, out there in the world that this is actually a hybrid breeding center, like an incubation site.
Okay.
Think like the Matrix with the pods. Yeah. And these octopus are there protecting everything so that it's not discovered. That's why the lakes were man-made. They're made
I see what you're saying.
Specifically to guard these sites. They put a protector in it. We're good to go. And in Oklahoma, who's going to suspect it in Oklahoma? Yeah. I wouldn't ever suspect that there's something in the lakes.
To everybody in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I hate to tell you, but you have some crazy stuff going in there. You just don't know.
But now you do. So what are you going to do about it?
So
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Dave.
that sounds interesting, but I'm going to go on a whole D&D rant here for a second.
Okay.
So there was an article that Liz you found and sent, and it really intrigued me. This guy, when he was talking about the Oklahoma Octopus, he related it back to D&D. So the link will be in the show notes, I'm sure. Really, really good article. I mean, this is one of the better articles I've ever read. And I checked all of his calculations, and he's exactly right on if a giant octopus using D&D stats was trying to walk between lakes, how long it would take and why it's not feasible and all of that stuff.
But if you could drive.
But it got me thinking we're thinking of this as a giant octopus or a regular octopus, but we're not thinking of if this is an aberration that travels amongst dimensions.
Right.
Oh.
Yes.
Then it being able to transport between lakes is pretty easy. And
You mean it just does a Doctor Strange portal?
Yeah, like
well, so
It's a
right,
man-made
a
lake.
blip.
So in this, I want to preface this because listeners probably haven't read the article prior to me talking about it. He's talking about the walking speed of a giant octopus is 10 feet per round, and that it would take something like 170 hours, I think, whatever, for it to walk between lakes. In
Which
order
is
to
definitely
get
not
between-
feasible.
Right. His calculations add up and all of that. But
Unless he had running shoes.
if instead
That would help.
of an octopus, if this was a morkoth, which is a creature that exists in the Volo Guide to Monsters, so just throwing it out there, if you're a D&D fan, you need to buy that in order to get the full stat block on
Right.
this. It's not a creature, it's an aberration. It's a creature from another plane. It is a hoarder that looks like an octopus. It has tentacles and a beak. Just like an octopus, but it hoards things. It wants things. And it actually attaches itself to an interdimensional island, which will manifest itself as a physical island. And when people approach the island, this creature or this aberration has hypnosis and dimensional travel that will actually, it can travel between places, and it has the ability to make you think as you're getting close to come. It wants you to come.
What?
Sorry, that
It's
was
mind manipulation makes what happen?
it wants you to come into its lair.
Oh, woo. Okay.
And what it will do, it has the ability to turn water into breathable oxygen and then switch it back. So you think you're walking into this place that has all of these treasures because it's hoarding them. And when you think you're safe, it suddenly switches it back to water. You're going to drown.
Okay.
So you'd have a high level of drowning. And at the time, it's going to use its tentacles and pull whatever it wants from you to add to its collection. So this creature is like sitting there.
It's a klepto.
Right. And the it's using all these islands, and which is weird because the reservoirs, Thunderbird Lake has one small island in it. Tenkiller Lake has many small islands, and Lake Ugla has two very large islands. All of these could be
They're man-made islands.
right. That they're focal points for the interdimensional islands of the Morkoth, and they're sitting there. There's a whole treasure hoard to be had. You know, if we were treasure hunters, we should go look, but we have to protect ourselves against the Morkoth.
See, I was thinking that kind of along what you were saying, Dave, but the reason why I stuck with multiple is I think that it got to a point to where covering each lake for one octopus, quote unquote octopus, would be a little much.
Right.
So that's when the mechanics to get to each lake would be there.
But the islands aren't physical islands. They're interdimensional islands, and they travel and they manifest themselves as these islands. So it's basically attaching to these islands in these lakes through interdimensional travel.
Yeah. I was just thinking that it would be a really, really big job for one octopus. So they would eventually, at first, it would be one doing this whole thing, and whereas after a while, it'd be like, you know, these people in Oklahoma, there's a lot of them, and they're getting to be more and more coming into the lake. So we need a sentry kind of a thing in each lake. That's kind of where I was going with that. Very much what you're saying, but Dave is now showing a picture
Of the Morkoth.
of a previous girlfriend.
Which doesn't help
listeners.
you on a podcast.
Yeah.
You've shown us a D&D picture of what he just talked about.
Yeah.
Also, I did want to point out that octopus, as a creature in D&D, is a very small creature.
Yeah, they're little teeny tiny guys.
Giant octopus is large. Morkoth is medium.
Okay.
Krakens are huge to gigantic.
Yeah, on the plumbers,
So
you bet.
it's there's I still feel like this Morkoth is the answer. This is actually a Morkoth that we're dealing with.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah. So, I mean, I really like your theory, and that kind of links to what I was thinking. So I took it more traditional also and went from aliens, and I started thinking of, it made me think of, I kind of kept going with the whole, it's a protector. So that got me thinking of the Hounds of Hell in Cerebus.
Okay.
And that got me thinking of, okay, well, let's look at different animals through mythology. And are those animals actually in our mythology, were they real animals, or were they animals that were projected from another dimension? What were these animals? So that got me down this rabbit hole of, if this thing is real, maybe kind of like what you were saying, Dave, maybe it's not of this dimension at all.
Right.
And it's there forcibly, but the portals kind of meshes almost exactly with what you're saying. Right. This is an extra dimensional being sent there to protect. My theory was protecting an incubation.
Guys are reminding me a little bit of Hellboy and some of the elder gods that are trying to come through.
Yeah.
And he has to protect from, and because they got all kinds of tentacles.
Right.
Very
much so.
Lovecraftian.
Right.
Yeah.
Very, very, very much so. And the smaller ones could almost be even like the inspiration for the face suckers in Alien.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many references to this type of multi-limbed creature.
And with interdimensional travel, especially where it's tied to an island that is interplanar, that it's traveling, could explain why it showed up for Native Americans long ago and it got into their history, but now it had a gap where no one was talking about it, and then it showed up in the early 2000s, and then it showed up again in the 2010s. All of those things. It's like, it's just jumping in and out. But this is the planar focal point where things appear.
I like it, and that kind of took me to looking at not necessarily spirit animals, but animals that were quote unquote like protectors back in the day.
I still don't think this is a protector, but that's the only place I'm like really antagonistic to your line of thinking.
I'm just thinking that it was there to protect something. It might be the interdimensional alien, the island. Right. It was
all
there.
Right, so what you're saying is it protector not in saving mankind. It's protecting something secret, and
correct.
It will kill all of us.
That's correct.
To protect that secret.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, there you go.
Using that language, yes. I mean, that's exactly this thing is a hoarder. It doesn't want you to get its treasure. It wants you to give it treasure, and it's going to kill you to get it. And protect
it's like the Hounds of Hell protecting a vampire, the head vampire. It is
a dragon protecting.
Correct.
Stash.
Right. Correct. Okay. Yeah. So that took me to other spirit animals, and that took me down this rabbit hole of Chinese mythology, which I would love to go into, but that's like one of the largest subjects in the world. So I'm not going to go down that direction. But I like what you're saying, Dave, because it's an interdimensional being that's octopus-like. Right. It's not necessarily an octopus. It has no suckers. But it's there to stop people from getting to its hoard or whatever it is protecting. I like to think of it as incubation sites for hybrids.
Right.
You like to think of it as stuff.
Right.
But whatever it is, you don't want to mess with it because it's going to kill you, even if you try to eat it.
Yeah.
It'll crawl out your butthole.
Oh my!
It'll crawl out your butthole.
The more you know.
The more you know, ladies and gentlemen. Brought that full circle.
Right.
All right. Wow. Interesting. Are you done?
I just like the fact that you're almost speechless in our whole thing.
I'm ready to move on.
Oh, okay.
Unless you're not done with buttholes.
No. I'm done with the butthole.
Okay.
Dave, are you done with the butthole?
Well,
oh boy,
I thought
definitely done.
Just gonna leave that rest.
The butthole? Yeah, it's good to leave it rest.
I thought after this discussion, for all the listeners, if you like all that tentacle talk, if you want more tentacles, I have a couple of movies you can check out.
Yeah.
No, honey, that's a tentacle.
So if you need more tentacle monsters, we got high recommendation for me. 1955 movie, It Came from Beneath the Sea. Tagline on the movie poster: "It crushes, kills, destroys." Now, I actually own this movie. Black and white, 1955. But the stop motion animation was from Ray Harryhausen.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
It's about a giant octopus that wreaks havoc, I think, on San Francisco and some naval ships. Now, fun fact, because
About naval ships?
about the movie.
Oh.
Because the budget was so low, Ray Harryhausen only gave the octopus 6 arms
Oh.
and not 8. And he just tried to hide it in the way they were shooting the scene so nobody would ever notice.
Right.
So I thought that was clever. Of course, you got, at 1954, you got 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, a Disney adaptation of Jules Verne's book. And in this case, it's a giant squid that messes with the Nautilus, but tentacles nonetheless.
Yeah.
Now, Dave, this is one that I don't think anybody would expect me to bring up, but I'm going to. The Fellowship of the Ring.
Okay.
Because when they were going into the entrance to the Mines of Moria,
Right.
in the water was a crazy tentacle monster
yeah.
that almost ended the mission.
Yeah.
And actually, even the way it was filmed, it was so it was so dark.
Right.
There wasn't a lot of moonlight, or the way they lit it, you never got like a solid look at the monster, but you knew that it was big enough and all the tentacles, and it definitely won to feed.
Right. Yep.
And another one that you might not have heard of, 2012 indie horror movie called Grabbers.
Never heard of that
So
one.
this was taking place in a little town in Ireland, and some aliens landed, bloodthirsty, sea-dwelling aliens, and they were all tentacle-like. But the way to fight them off is to have an high blood alcohol content. Because it was kind of poison to the monsters.
Nice.
So the town came together at the one local pub and got wicked hammered.
Nice.
And they were able to defeat. I hope that's not a spoiler, but it should want you to watch it.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So that was a good one.
So, how did they defeat them? Like, did they allow some of the townsfolk to get
Well,
eaten?
the sea creatures didn't want to eat a drunk dude.
Oh, okay.
So that you could fight back a little bit. I mean, as well as you could fight when you're super
I was thinking they
intoxicated.
would try to isolate it being drunk. Depending on how many people were drunk, they would try to isolate it and then pollute the water with like urine or something like that, or other fluids that would come out of the body if you're way
the
smashed
sea's
drunk.
pretty big. It would take a lot of.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying
There are a lot
that-
of people urinating
That's why
there.
I said isolate it, get it out of the water into something.
Well, they could come on land, but they're all tentacle like.
Right.
Yeah, they just they couldn't handle their booze.
Right.
So hey, man, if that ever happens, we know exactly we're gonna win.
Yep.
All right, hey. Anything else before we move on? Now, I would like to run a scenario after the break. And how long since you mentioned D&D,
Right.
how long in the D&D game rules and gameplay would it take for an octopus to win or a teenager to win in a scenario? So we're going to do that when we come back.
Yeah.
Find out how long a human will survive against a giant monster. And we have listener paranormal experiences to share with you. We'll be right back. And we're back. All right. So, yeah. Octopus.
Yes.
So, Dave, you mentioned a lot about D&D with the things you were talking about, which was super fun. And I thought, well, in the world of D&D, how long would teenagers last against a giant octopus?
Right.
So, guess what? We're going to play this out. Dave, you're playing the giant octopus.
Right.
Nash, Lish, you're playing teenagers.
Okay.
Everybody's got their stat sheets.
What
they
age teenager are we?
You're teenagers.
What age?
Oh, 18.
Like 13, 14 or 18, 19?
18. This is like classic horror movie
Okay.
situation. You're
Okay.
18, maybe 19, but you're still teenagers. All right. You guys ready? Mm-hmm. All right. So there's a great bonfire lit on the side of Lake Tenkiller. Nash, Alicia, you're partying, you're crushing a couple beers. I don't know who bought them. Probably Nash's brother. You know, his older brother likes to enable his younger brother.
You hooked us up.
You're crushing some hams, beers. You're feeling it. You've been flirting all night. And you're like, hey, man, let's skinny dip a little bit. She's like, no.
This is weird.
Go ahead.
I'll be like, hey, you want to go skinny dipping in the water?
The moonlight's hitting the water. It looks great. You've had 2 White Claws, so you're like up for anything, Alicia.
Okay. Oh, boy.
All right.
So you begin to wade into the water. Alicia, you're still hesitant. You're not sure if you want to go full into the water, swimming, because it's a little scary. You've been drinking. You get it. But Nash is trying to convince you because you think it'll be wicked fun. Because he's up for anything, and then all of a sudden, you hear the water move, and you're like, what's that? Nash says, don't worry about it. Nothing.
Don't worry. Don't worry. It's nothing.
I'm making you actually sound like the villain.
I know.
I don't know. I didn't see anything. Come on in. The water's great.
Mind you, the campaign setting is 1980s campy horror movie.
Got it.
So get what? All right.
Like
We're
totally,
at in Crystal Lake. Is that where we're at?
Yeah, we're yeah.
like the water's great. Come on in. Don't be like that. Come on in. It's great in here.
Then you walk a little further, and then you see what looks like with the moonlight something a little bit of a hump, followed by a couple.
Oh God!
It's just a tentacle. Don't worry.
I'm DMing here. What do you do?
So I'm like, what is that? What is that? That looks really weird. So I'm going to go, I kind of check it out. You know, I'm going to wade in a little bit and be like, what was that? Did you see that? What was that?
Lish, what are you doing?
I am heading back to the beach
Well,
because I'm like, what is that?
You've also had a couple White Claws. You're
is it an
inebriated.
alligator? What is it? Yeah.
All right. So you stay fast. Okay. Nash, you start moving forward till you saw the weird, you don't know what it was, kind of arching out of the water.
So I'm going to reach back and I'm going to be like, hey, what is that? Hold on. I'm going to reach down and like grab a stick on the ground.
Okay.
I find some
you walked out into the water. So
yeah.
You reach back and there's nothing but water.
Well, I grab it. I go back on the beach, and I'm like,
so if I get this right, you leave Lish standing in the water.
No, she's not in the water.
Walk back to the beach.
She's not in the water. I'm in the water by myself.
I left the water.
I'm like, hold on. So I go back up to her, and I'm like, this is weird. And so I grab a stick, and then I'm going to go back in the water and check it out.
All right. So as you wade back into the water to check it out, boom, 8 tentacles fly up out of the water, almost like land in front of you, and then push out a giant cephalopod head. It looks at you.
What?
Cephalopod.
Hey, man, it's my own story. Cephalopod head.
Cephalopod is
with glowing yellow eyes.
wrapped
looks
in
at
cellophane.
You. Wrapped in cellophane.
It's an octopus in cellophane.
Roll initiative.
Me too.
Yep. You just emerged in front of Nash.
11.
Okay.
11.
Oh.
5.
All right.
He goes first.
Yeah.
He had surprise.
He had surprise. He came up out of the water. Octopus, you get to go first. So Lish, everybody's in range. Even though if Lish says she walked back to the beach, I was trying to keep her in the water.
I know.
Right?
But you're concerned, so you go to the water's edge.
Everybody, yeah, you're at the water's edge. Everybody's in range of a giant
Okay.
octopus.
Okay. So, first turn, I'm going to attack the big guy coming back at me
Okay.
Am I nude?
with my tentacles.
Oh God.
Now you got some board shorts on.
Okay. So I'm topless.
We didn't get that far.
I'm just.
So
Okay. AC 10.
Oh, that's. I have a 10, so I guess that's a hit.
That's a hit.
You take 6 bludgeoning damage.
oh,
I smack you.
Well, I am now unconscious.
Okay. So Nash is unconscious, but in the water.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh.
Okay. And you need to make a strength saving throw. Or dex, whichever your choice is, but it doesn't matter.
It's a 13.
You are restrained, and I'm holding you under the water.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm unconscious and underwater.
and drowning. Okay.
Does the giant octopus, only have one attack, or do you get
Correct.
multiple attacks?
No, I get 1 attack.
All right, then, Nash, you're incapacitated.
Well,
And
so
unconscious.
typically with surprise, I would get an attack, and they
Then you
wouldn't,
go
and
down.
then the next turn it goes back to regular.
We're in a
initiative.
1980s horror movie. So, Nash, I guess you get to roll strength to see if you can break out.
I'm unconscious, though.
Then never mind. Lish, what are you doing? This is entirely your decision, and I know what you should make based on a 1980s classic horror movie.
And you've been inebriated, and you see the guy you're drinking with in the water being held underwater by this
I
thing.
mean, personally, I would probably, my character would run away.
Wow.
But
wow.
I know, but I am going to I'm going to grab a stick and then come in and try to hit it.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay.
So you
It's
roll.
an 8.
That's definitely a miss, right?
It's a miss
All right, so you run in the water.
and splash a
You
little
know,
bit.
I
Yeah.
mean, you only know Nash for like 30 minutes at
I
this
know.
bonfire party, but you run in and protect him when you should have run back to get the camp counselors, wake them up.
Oh, didn't think about
But that's
that.
okay.
But I've got good abs, and that's why you came in after me.
Got it.
Even though he was trying to get you to drink more White Claw Surge. But so, all right, so you miss. That brings us back to the top of the round, which is the octopus.
Okay. So I'm still holding him underwater, which should trigger 2 failures on your death saving throws.
Okay. Okay, groovy. So what's your next turn?
So then my turn's done because I can't do anything else but hold you underwater.
Oh, that's your turn. Is holding
my
the
turn.
water?
Yeah.
You can't attack and hold it in the water with 8 legs.
No, apparently until this grapple ends, the target is restrained and the octopus can't use its tentacles on another target.
Oh,
Okay,
So,
so,
I can't do
you're held
anything else.
underwater.
Okay, so here we go. Come on, baby. That is an 18. I think that's a save.
So you have 1 success, 2 failures.
okay.
Okay, so you're still somehow fighting.
Although on your
Drowning
next turn,
would probably be the end.
yeah, that's going to be
It takes us to Alicia.
Okay.
So you saw the octopus is continuing to just hold Nash underwater. What are you doing?
I'm gonna try to hit it again, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know what else to do.
Scream out, help.
You know, I'm a teenager. I don't
Right.
really know what I should be doing.
You scream out, help, as you're doing this.
And you rolled a 4, which I'm pretty sure that's a big swing and a miss.
AC 6? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it doesn't hit me.
Nope.
Yep.
Okay, then it's the
Okay.
octopuses
The
turn
octor.
again.
The
So,
octor.
yep, I'm still holding Nash underneath, so he gets 2 death saving failures, and
He's dead.
I'm dead. I am a corpse.
All right.
I let him go.
And he
His body's just floating.
floats away. You scream
Yep.
in terror. Now you realize that you made a grave mistake and you should have ran to the camp counselors and got out of the water, but you didn't. What are you doing?
Well, I think, yeah, I saw that he is now dead. I'm not going to go any closer. I'm not going to hit the octopus anymore. I'm going to turn and run, which is, you know,
So
yeah,
if I
attack
hear you,
of opportunity.
so
I
you
know.
turn your back and try to run
Yeah,
on the
I
octopus.
do,
The
I do.
octopus gets an attack.
I sneak attack.
in death.
And I
AC
go, and I
19?
go invisible.
AC 19.
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh.
So that is 10 damage.
Okay.
That's
Is
death,
that
that's
double
death.
your...
Yes, it is. It's over double.
So I murder you in
Oh,
one.
All right,
Okay.
and that's how it would go, everybody. If you came across a giant octopus, would drown you or smack you with his tentacles and kill you.
Yeah.
So
Word to the wise. Da-na-na-na.
that was the shortest D&D campaign
I know.
we've ever run.
If you see something coming out of the water to come at you for whatever reason, don't go at it. Go the other way.
Yeah.
I would like to ask, Alicia, why wouldn't you just run to get help?
Well, because I thought that
It's an
what
80s
you
horror
guys
movie.
wanted me to do was run into the water.
It's an
and-
80s horror
yeah.
movie. That's why. You always check out
Yeah.
what's in the basement, and you don't leave the house and get in the car and drive
Why
away.
wouldn't we get in the running car?
That's right. How about that shed full of lawn equipment
Right,
and
yeah.
cutting devices?
Man, now, does anybody want to make a 1980s-esque
Yes.
giant octopus movie
Let's do it.
set at a beach in a camp?
Yes, but
Has anybody ever done that? I'm sure.
the special effects are going to
Be
cost.
challenging. We have to have at least 8 people manning
So,
arms
if
underwater.
anyone wants to donate to, we'll start up a Kickstarter, and
That's right.
We have a lot of movies scheduled to make before the giant octopus one.
But this might be a good Dead Scripts Resurrected. That we could possibly do a script on this.
wait. We have to.
First, you have to
We had to write it
the script.
kill it, then resurrect it. So it's a bit of a process. I understand that.
It'll be better if we kill it first.
Now, before we move on to, I hope you enjoyed our little game. Before we move on, Dave, you had something that you forgot to bring up about the octopus.
Right. So the one point I brought it up at the very beginning and didn't touch on
We
it.
put it in the
And
parking lot.
everybody ignored you. Is that what happened? I'm sorry.
Well, no. It just wasn't the right place at the time. But so the one guy had caught an octopus when he was fishing in Arkansas, but that was freshwater, and the fact that there are no freshwater octopi.
That seems odd to me.
Yes, I mean, either this is a coincidence that the guy caught this octopus in the exact time frame which it can live in
Right.
freshwater, or this octopus that had, and I completely agree with the theory that it was a pet that grew too large and they threw it in. I think with its alien DNA, it had learned to adapt, and it was living in freshwater. That we just haven't experienced normal octopus in freshwater because it's not an easy thing to accomplish.
Right.
But in this case, it shows that they can adapt.
You know, as smart as they are, I buy that they can, over time, they can adapt.
If you can have an octopus get out of its cage, walk across land, get into a different aquarium, and
Eat a fish.
eat a fish,
Get back.
go have a buffet, and then get back out of the water.
And be sitting there going like, what? Wasn't me.
Right, yeah, I don't know. It was the shark. He did it. And then get back into its own aquarium. Why couldn't it?
Right?
And if it can go in your mouth and come out your butthole,
Oh, boy.
I feel it's capable of just about anything.
Right.
Wow.
All right. Are we done with eight-legged freaks?
And Doc Ock is in the new,
And Doc Ock is in the Spider-Man,
new-
yeah?
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
We good? We good? All right. We do have a couple paranormal experiences from our wonderful listeners out there that we would love to share with you that they said it's okay to share. So first off, before we jump in here, don't forget, we do have a Patreon
Right.
where we have a couple exclusive shows over there, Ghost and Gastropubs, Creepy Cryptids.
Dead Script Rising.
Well, if we could remember to record that, yes, Dead Scripts Rise from the Grave. The weekend show where we just shoot the breeze about pop culture stuff we're digging and we're vibing on at the moment.
Yep.
Get some extra content, supports the show, helps us do more stuff.
Like what? Well, like what are we doing more outside of the normal show? Are we going to a con up here?
Okay, where we are going to convention. The way you phrase the question.
Oh my God! Like pulling teeth around here.
No. The way you phrase the question is like, what do you mean by that, Mark?
What do you mean? Are we doing more than just sitting around talking on the mic?
Right, yes. We'll be at Philadelphia Comic-Con, now called the Fan Expo.
Right.
At the Philadelphia Convention Center, and we are putting on a live show, the podcast.
I can't wait.
It should
Yeah.
be a
It's gonna be
I'm
fun.
terrified.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I'm terrified, but like, this is going to be amazing.
It's going to be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be
And
fun.
I hope, since Kevin Smith's there, I get to meet Kevin Smith.
Right.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
And William Shatner will be there.
I realize this is fairly late that we're announcing this, but I'm hoping some of our listeners can make it to the show. I would love to meet some of these people
Yeah.
and interact with them and maybe have a beer with them afterwards.
Right.
And then they're no longer listeners because, like, wow.
They got to meet us all, and they're like, "Oh, wow,
That's Dave in real life.
He's over in the corner sniffing bagels.
Now,
That's why Dave isn't on most episodes.
I'm like, hey, it's great to see you. Do you have any food? Do you have any pudding with you? Pudding? No? Okay, well, next.
No.
We're jumping into listener paranormal experiences. We heard from Kev. Kev said, "Hey guys, I've had another paranormal encounter recently. I was in the hospital for heart surgery.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Before going for surgery, I was in the hospital bed, and a spirit of an elderly Victorian-style woman appeared to me
What?
and spoke to me, saying, 'Everything will be okay.' When they were putting me to sleep, my grandpa's spirit appeared to me and said, 'Everything will be okay. And this isn't your time.' I'm recovering. I'm all healthy. And I'm caught up on your recent episode. Thanks for the laughs. Keep up the good work, guys. May the paranormal be with you."
Wow.
That's fantastic.
I know.
Well, first, Kev, I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah,
Like, heart surgery is
the
no
heart surgery
joke,
is
man.
terrible, but
Yep.
to be visited specifically and to tell that it's okay, you're going to be
It's
fine.
not your time.
It's not your time.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, I completely understand the family interaction.
Well, who's the
But
elderly,
who's the elderly
Victorian
woman? Like,
a nurse that-
What would she have to do with heart surgery? Like,
Maybe she's a
Maybe she was
distant
a nurse.
relative back in the day. Who knows?
yeah. Like, I don't know. It's just the unknowing of
Could be a
why this person's
Yeah.
visiting is
But at least
creepy.
But two spirits did
Yeah.
show up and say, "Hey, man, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not your time. You're going to be good." I can only imagine, Kev, that you were experiencing a high level of anxiety and just worry.
Yeah.
Heart surgery, man. That's
tough.
crazy, man. I'm glad you're all right, dude.
yeah.
Whew. We heard from Chris from Maine. If you remember Chris, he had a story before. He's a forest firefighter.
Oh, yeah.
A hot shot.
Yeah. Oh, much respect.
And Chris said, "Okay,
Crazy ass guys.
so I think Hatman as a Grim Reaper, because every time I've seen him, it's been when somebody died. I've seen it at least 14 times that I know of.
That's a large number.
That's a
not
big number.
A time or two. 14
Right.
times?
And there have been at least 3 times where I wasn't the only person to see him.
Wow.
I was on a medical call where an older lady wasn't feeling well, and she ended up coding. So we started CPR and tried to bring her back. But we couldn't. Just before she passed, she said, "He's here." And then she coded.
Wow.
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 My mom and I both saw this man in a really nice suit and a top hat standing in the back of a group of family members. But we never saw his face. It was just pale. Sounds like maybe he was at a service, a funeral for somebody.
Right.
Another time, I was on a fatal car accident call, and we were waiting on the cops to finish up their job so that we could pull the man's body out of the car. While we were pulling the man's body out, I was sitting in the back seat and looked in the rearview mirror and saw him sitting next to me.
What?
Wow.
Also, I think I have a video of him while I was working a building fire, if you're all interested in seeing it. Now, I can't show a video on a podcast.
Right.
No.
But he sent it to me. It's hard. There's a lot of action going on, like almost like a body camera. But he said that people said it looks like there's this man is standing at the top of the stairs. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Is the Hat Man also the Grim Reaper?
Yeah.
The way I interpret that story is I would initially say no. That the Grim Reaper caused the death, is there to say, it's your time, you're coming with me. But maybe the Hat Man is there to collect the soul. And those might be two independent things.
Wow.
Oh.
That came negative.
Sounds very Your soul is mine.
Well, I mean, but what what happens to the soul? I mean, maybe they collect the soul and then they determine where it goes. He's just like a facilitator. I don't know. In that case, I would say no, because he's not. The Hat Man is not the one there at the point of death. The Hat Man is there just after that to possibly determine
Right.
good or bad. You know,
What if-
where the direction of the soul.
Ferryman?
Yeah, what if
Yeah,
Where's he going to take it? Where are you going?
maybe that's it. Maybe the Hat Man is the ferryman.
I was gonna say, what if the Hat Man was kind of like a banshee, like a herald of death?
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, it comes after the death.
true. Okay, never mind.
Maybe it's a.
But
And
if he's
I don't
riding
wanna-
back seat in wherever he's going, so maybe you're right. Maybe he is a herald. Who knows?
What if he's
I don't know.
and I don't mean this in any kind of derogatory way, but what if he's like a tour guide after death? Like, hey, you're dead. Let me show you around.
We know these points happen throughout history,
Right.
and we want to witness them.
Yeah.
And so, okay.
Over here is the pits of fire,
Right, yeah.
where we'll roast your
Now-
feet for hours on end.
It could be good or bad. He's just fulfilling a task to
Yep.
gather something to wherever it goes. That's all. But to,
A guide.
Yeah, a guide. He's just the middleman to collect it. So maybe that would explain there's multiple Hatmen out there because they're to collect the souls, and then so they can be determined on which direction they're going to go.
Do you think the type of hat depends?
maybe.
Oh, your status?
Yeah, yeah.
So if you're like,
Man,
Oh, you see
stat-
this type, you get to see what happens with the fires and the feet. If you see this, it's like, oh no, it's all lovely.
So depending on the shape of the hat,
Right.
we determine like,
Right.
oh,
huh? I was thinking upper management, lower management.
Oh, yeah.
But I like your idea better. Yeah.
okay.
All right.
I don't know. But we heard from Missouri Will. Hey, guys. It's been a while since I sent you guys anything, and that's because my life has been pretty normal. I haven't had any.
That's great to hear.
Oh, that's great to hear. I haven't had any weird things happen. No strange lights, no ghost, or anything until tonight.
Oh no.
Dun dun.
I have seen a super weird light, but not just me, but also my girlfriend saw the weird light too. We were sitting in my house, which I should say I don't live in yet. I'm about to start renovating it, but I keep my Xbox and TV there.
The important stuff.
So we were sitting on the couch watching the show Letterkenny.
Awesome.
Pitter patter. And I looked out the window to see this weird, bright, fiery orange light in the sky. It appeared to be a couple miles away above a tree line. So at first, I didn't think anything of it. I was just watching it, and it seemed normal. It was flashing, although I realized after it disappeared, it was not blinking like an airplane or a phone tower, but more flashing. Then about 10 minutes later, it reappeared in the same place. This is when I really started to think about how weird it was after watching it disappear and now reappear in the same place. So I pointed out to my girlfriend, and she saw it and didn't think anything of it until I walked out onto the porch and we both saw it disappear. She was on the couch, I was outside. So I came in and we both agreed that it was weird, but still not convinced that it was too weird. We started watching the show again. Then about 10 or 15 minutes later, it reappeared in the same spot, except it was quite bit higher in the sky. Instead of being the fiery orange, it was a white light. But again, it did the same thing. We watched it, and it disappeared without moving, or any clouds moving in front of her or anything. Now, about 15 minutes pass, and this thing reappears yet again. It's back to being a fiery orange. But now it's even higher up. And this time, as we watch, the light starts moving down. Not side to side, but straight down. Before it gets to the tree line, it disappears yet again. Another 10 or 15 minutes pass, and I see the light reappear. Now, at this time, it's happened enough that I don't even pause the show. I just watch the light for a few minutes, and then it just disappeared. I should also note that this time it was, again, super high up above the tree line, but it wasn't moving. It just faded away.
Don't move into that house.
Yeah, stop renovating. Don't move in.
Yeah. Think twice. Yeah.
Will out in Missouri, he sees this constant weird lights in the sky, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is going on out there.
Do they have any man-made lakes around in that area?
I don't know.
And any weird colored foam happening to those lakes.
Oh, God.
What's with all the foam?
Will, that's I mean, it sounds pretty weird.
That sounds
but also
really
like
weird.
feel like since it's been like every 10 or 15 minutes, it just get. I wonder like also if there is aliens, like they're just messing with you.
Right.
Like
Could be.
turn it back on, turn it back on. All right, turn it back off, and they're just messing with them the whole time. I don't know, but thanks for sharing that, dude. Oh, and Letterkenny's a super funny show, so good on you. Mm-hmm. You guys watch that show?
Yes.
I've never watched it. I want to, but I've never. It's never.
Oh, okay, because you guys are on your cell phone right in the middle of recording this, and you're distracting the crap out of me. What's so important in the middle of Will's story that you guys were sharing back and forth on a cell phone?
Well, we were getting PayPal information because we're getting ready to order dinner.
Are you crapping me? Are you shitting me? Jersey Mike's?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, right?
Jersey Mike's!
That's all I've got in my mind right now.
And we did hear from Fee. This is more. She had a comment about something that popped up in the Banshee Labyrinth episode. You had mentioned about a shoe in the wall.
Yeah. They were, I think, bricking up a.
Wall.
No. They
Hey,
were,
Jersey Mike's, can you be a sponsor?
I know.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They were bricking up a. What is that?
Wall.
Where fire comes out.
Your hand gestures
I
are
know.
not.
Chimney?
Yes, a
Yes.
chimney. Thank you. Man.
Where fire comes
I know.
out?
Yeah.
I wasn't even on the episode.
I know.
I was the thing.
No,
moment.
they were bricking it up, and I feel like a shoe came out. And it with
Bricking it up, or are they doing some demo and a shoe fell out?
I thought I read that they were bricking it up, like
They were sealing it
covering
off.
Yeah, they were
Closing it.
sealing it. Yeah,
And a shoe comes out.
yeah.
Well, Fee, who's from the UK. Hi, just listening to your latest episode, and when you got to the bit about Molly, I started wondering whether you guys knew about the weird tradition of hiding shoes in walls, fireplaces, etc.
No.
It sounds like the shoe you're referencing may have been hidden for luck or protection against evil.
Oh God.
Finding a shoe in an older house pubs isn't that strange, and it doesn't necessarily mean anything sinister happened. They usually used well-worn shoes, and it makes sense that it was a child's shoe because they grow out of them so fast, and it wouldn't be much of a waste of leather.
Right.
I know that several other have also been found. Several shoes and walls have been found in the U.S., but it's definitely more common in the U.K. and Europe. So if you didn't know about it, well, here's a new weird thing you learned about.
Interesting.
And if you didn't know, well, I'll just go away and back to my folklore books.
Oh.
I didn't
Well,
know.
Fee,
I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about
Yeah.
that. All right.
I feel like that would be an interesting episode.
I know.
Or Patreon, at least.
Is it shoes specifically? That
Shoes?
I'm so
Yeah.
intrigued by this. Could it be other garments?
Shoes.
I don't know.
Just shoes.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, well there you go. So if I find a shoe in somebody's chimney, somebody didn't die in the chimney. It was a good luck
Yeah.
thing.
Right. It's not
Good
like
luck,
you're going to find
or-
bone. Well, I mean, it depends.
Right? I mean,
you can.
Wow.
If you find a femur attached to the...
Oh God.
That would be the
Then
indicator.
maybe. Yeah.
Good sidebar. Good note.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I'm picturing Vox Machina.
Okay.
The one scene where they're on the roof, the bard, I forget his name, Scanlan, is fighting the one guy, and like, oh, well, that could have turned really, like, if you found the shoe in that house, it would have been bad for anyone involved. Sorry.
Okay, Dave. Here's your bagel.
Not
I
sniffing it.
could go for a bagel. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
We got Jersey Mike's. Not a sponsor, which I don't know why. All right. Hey, if you want to send in a paranormal story or something that happened to you, paranormalpunchers.com, you find all the ways to contact us. We would love to hear about your paranormal experience. Thank you so much for listening, for sharing your time, your stories, everything with us. Guys, we're going to the Philadelphia Fan Expo. If anybody could join us, it's going to be amazing. Reach out to us via our website.
When is this happening?
April 8th through the 10th.
Thank you.
2022.
When are we recording?
Friday
2020.
at 6:30 p.m.
See, right next to William Shatner. You
Right next to
channel
William
Shatner.
Where
Where
gonna
he
be
will
amazing.
fighting a Gorn there. I promise.
And I'm gonna
He's been to space. We have not.
That's true. That's
and I'm
true.
gonna drop the link soon, shortly, before we go to the Comic-Con, so you can start buying the Bigfoot Ridge comic book.
Are you gonna drop it like it's hot?
I'm gonna, hope it's hot.
Yeah.
I hope
Like it's
people
hot.
want to
Like
read
it's
it.
hot.
Yeah.
Feedback so far, things coming in, reviews, as they say, are thumbs up. I hope everybody enjoys it because we're going to make it into an audio drama. And then Dave and I were drinking beers, and that's probably a bad way to make decisions.
That's wrong. It's a great way.
Yeah.
But we were like, next year
That's what we do best.
we're going to turn it into a movie. So you want to get the comic book first. So you were like that fan, like,
So you
know,
know-
I was there. I was there when it was a comic book. I was into it when it was a comic.
So you know the script.
Yeah.
Spoiler: Nash gets shot.
Who shoots me though?
I can't tell him.
have to get it.
Yeah, it's an obscure detail that does he live? Does he not live? Did he really get shot? Who knows?
Who knows?
And I wish now I would have wrote an octopus into it.
That would have been awesome. I don't know how.
Well, this is only issue 1.
Right.
Issue 2, 3.
Right.
Yeah.
I could get resurrected. Nobody really dies in the comics.
Except Uncle Ben.
Yeah, Uncle Ben. He always
Yeah, it was
dies.
Jason Todd and Uncle Ben, but now Jason Todd is back.
Yeah. And Bucky and
Right.
Bucky's back.
Only Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Yep.
With great power.
If you want to hear about comic books, jump on over to Patreon, sign up, because we're about to do the weekend show where we're going to nerd out about the new Spider-Man movie, a couple other movies,
Yep.
and stuff like that. Guys, thank you so much for listening. You're awesome. Anything else, team?
If you see an interdimensional island, don't go swimming in it. Don't go swimming around it.
Right. Or if it's calling to you, just walk the other way.
Walk the other way.
Swim the other way.
Yeah, think twice before you do it. And if you should be in the 1980s and with a young lady on the beach getting drunk, drinking White Claws, and you see something coming out of the water, don't rush into the water. Go get help.
Yeah.
Don't go get help. Just go away.
Just
Yeah,
go away.
just
That's it.
run.
But it could chase after you. It can go on land. It's an octopus.
Right. But
For a short period of time.
But it's
we
a
didn't
giant
we didn't play it
octopus.
that way.
Well, for the 5 people still listening, if it's not weird.
It's not worth checking out.